Caitlin Clark struggles early in WNBA debut as Indiana Fever fall to Connecticut Sun. Caitlin Clark's WNBA career is officially off and running. It didn't get off to the best start. Clark struggled early in her first regular season game with the Indiana Fever on Tuesday night and seemed to take a bit to settle in. She still had a team-high 20 points after coming alive in the second half, but she committed 10 turnovers in the Fever season-opening 92-71 loss to the Connecticut Sun. The 10 turnovers marked the most in a WNBA debut in league history. After a dominant run at UConn, Clark led a draft class that is perhaps the best the WNBA has seen in over a decade. Tuesday's game at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut was sold out, which made it the first home opener sellout in Connecticut since 2003. The game was added to Disney Plus as a streaming option for fans watching at home. Plenty of big names attended the game, including UConn head coach Geno Auriemma and several New England Patriots players. Clark drew a ridiculous amount of bets to win MVP this season, even though that historically feels like a long shot. Clark's first WNBA points came just ahead of the midway point of the second quarter. On a fast break, Clark hesitated at the three-point line and drove right past Sun star DeWanna Bonner to the rim for a layup. Clark struggled to open the game. She went 0 of 4 from the field before getting her layup to fall, and she picked up 2 quick fouls in the first quarter after making a great pass to Leah Boston to kick off the night. That sent her to the bench for an extended period in the first quarter. After hitting a pair of free throws later in the second quarter, Clark drilled a three-pointer. She hit a bucket over Dejanay Carrington from the wing with about 30 seconds left, which briefly cut the Suns' lead to single digits. Clark shot 2 of 7 from the field in the first half and went 1 of 4 from behind the arc. Carrington led the Sun with 14 points to give them a 10-point lead at the break. Clark walked off the court with Boston, who was frustrated with how the half went, and the two talked the entire way into the tunnel back to the locker room. Clark's second half went significantly better than the first, but it came too late for the Fever. She hit a three-pointer early in the third quarter without any issue and finally seemed more like herself on the court. But every time the Fever cut into the deficit, the Sun had an answer waiting. They entered the fourth quarter with an 8-point lead and immediately pushed that to double digits. The Sun opened the fourth quarter on a 13-5 tier, which they rode to the 21-point win. Clark went on a little run of her own in the fourth quarter, where she scored 8 straight points, but it didn't make a difference. Alyssa Thomas led the Sun with a triple-double, the 9th of her career. She had 13 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds in the win. Bonner added 20 points and 6 rebounds after she shot 8 of 14 from the field. Carrington, who left briefly in the second half with an apparent leg injury, had 16 points. Tyasha Harris also finished with 16 points. Clark had 3 assists with her 20 points to lead the Fever. She shot 5 of 15 from the field and 4 of 11 from behind the arc. Nelissa Smith finished with 13 points and 9 rebounds. They were the only 2 Fever players to hit double figures in the loss. The Fever had 25 turnovers as a team. Clark and the Fever will be back in action on Thursday night when they host the New York Liberty. If it's anything like their lone preseason game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Clark and the Fever will have a chance to get their first win of the season in front of another sold-out crowd.